Hey everybody, it's Heather, and today is September 28th, which is a Wednesday. And here on the southeast of the United States, we are preparing for a hurricane. So I thought I would go ahead and film this now before the Hurricane Ian makes his arrival tomorrow/Friday, whatever he chooses to do. So today I have one finished object and a couple that are like little finished objects that are a part of a big object. So then I also have a few work in progresses, and that's that. So today marks 3 weeks since I broke my foot. Still in this, still can't drive, which is really becoming a headache for my family, but you know, we're doing the best we can. So let's get into my finished object. I'm so excited to show you all this because it's huge. She's a large and in charge shawl. She is my test knit for Spruce Lane Designs on Instagram. She is the Viridis shawl. Look how big she is. Like, she's huge. She is like 80 inches long from this side to this side. She's 80 inches long, huge. This is knit out of Moss Fibers yarn in her Envy colorway, which is, this one is on her merino cashmere base. This is called All That Glitters, and it is on her mohair base. Here's a better, let's see if I can get you a better shot of the mohair. Yeah, there we go. Look at the fuzzies. And like I said, this was a test knit for Spruce Lane Designs. The pattern is now out, and today is the last day to get a discount on the pattern through Ravelry. So go ahead and check it out. I will leave a link down below to her Ravelry page, and this lovely girl is actually on the Ravelry page. So like, it's so big. I am 5'7.5", and my wingspan only brings it to here, guys. And I still have a half wingspan. It's pretty cool. She's beautiful. She's a very pretty pattern. It's beautiful. It used 1.5 of the fingering weight merino cashmere base and 3/4 of the skein of mohair, which is lace weight mohair. So I think you should check this out. It'd be fun in so many colors. Like, when I started this, I thought it would be a cool color combination. My husband told me it was ugly colors. He's crazy, he doesn't know anything. He says it reminds him of a United States football team, the Green Bay Packers, which it does. I'm not a Packers fan at all, not even a little bit. Not my team, sorry guys if it's your team. But I didn't feel like it, I nicknamed it the Aquaman shawl because it is the same colors as Aquaman. Like, he's got the gold, he's got the green. So it's like, the nickname is now the Aquaman shawl because I want it to be wearable for me, and it's not wearable to me as a Packers shawl. But this is her, my finished object. And I finished my test knit in time, which is always a wonderful thing to do. I hate when I cannot complete a test knit. I have test knit a few items. One I had to completely pull out because my yarn did not come. It got lost by I think FedEx. And then once I had to pull out because honestly, I didn't like the pattern. I didn't like its construction. But now that I am more of a seasoned knitter, I would probably like the pattern better now because it had a lot of seaming, and I didn't really like seaming. But now I've realized I don't have to seam something. I can crochet it together, and that turns out beautiful. So I can seam now. But, you know, whatever. This is my Viridis shawl, Viridis shawl by Spruce Lane Designs. Yarn, Moss Fibers. Got all that. Okay. So my next finished object, plural, is little ones, but still finished objects nonetheless. as I told you earlier on that I was making a blanket for my son out of red knit squares. And I'm gonna seam them up. I'm gonna crochet them together, since I know I can do that now. And I originally wanted to finish it by his birthday, which was last week, and I did not finish it. I actually kind of forgot about it because I was doing so many test knits at the time. I test knit like 5 things back to back to back, and at one time I had 2 test knits, and then I went and did 2 test knits at the same time, and then I did 1. So it was a lot of test knitting, and I didn't get to work on this, and it really bummed me out. So now, this is going to be his Christmas gift. I am going to finish by Christmas. I think that I have my schematic planned out. I think I need 42 squares, 42 full-size squares. I have, hold on, this many full-size squares right now, and I have this many mini squares. My idea is I'm knitting with tons of different colors of red, all worsted weight yarn. I am going to put 4 of the minis together to equal up 1 of the full size. And then I'm gonna put a couple of these sporadically throughout the blanket. And I'm gonna just patchwork it together. Like no true color placement because all the reds are different. I am using like 2 skeins of each red, but regardless, there are gonna be a lot of different colors of red. So I am gonna lay it all out once I have all of them done and seam it up. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the full-size squares, which are knit on US 8 needles. I cast on 40 stitches, knit for 39 rows, and then the cast off row is the 40th row. So it's 40 stitches and 40 rows makes it a square. I am going to try to block these a little bit bigger. At first I was like, should I block them before I finish and sew them all up, or should I block them after it's seamed? But then I realized if I block it and it's seamed, it won't block the same as it would if I block it individually. So I am going to block these individually to the same size. And they are all the same size right now, but I'd like them to be a little bit bigger so that less squares make up the blanket. Well, my idea is I need it to be a rectangle because a bed is a rectangle, usually. I'm going to do 6 wide and 7 long, which is 42. So currently I have 1 row completed in theory. I mean, all these won't go in the same row because a lot of the reds are the same. But I also have 5 of the mini squares completed. So this is technically 1 more, so I have 7. So I'm technically working on my 2nd row, which is cool. I don't have that much time because I still have a few other things I want to knit for Christmas. So, you know, I am working on this again though. So it will get finished by Christmas. I won't stop, guys. And when my son sees me knitting on these squares, he's like, oh, is that a square for my blanket? I'm like, yeah, it's a square for your blanket, buddy. I've got this. So, so I finished, since I recorded, 2 of the big ones, I think, and 2 of the small ones. So that's my other finished objects. I was putting little stitch markers in the center, well, not the center, just in it to show which ones I had knit since the last time. And, oh, I did. Here's the 2 full size. And here is the 2 babies. It looks like out of 1 hank or skein of worsted weight yarn, 100 grams, I'm getting 2 full size and 1 small and a little bit left. So I'm thinking like I'm getting like a little bit left. If it comes down to it, like I can make some of these that are striped because this is not going to be enough yarn to knit another square because I've already knit. Those are not the same. I've already knit the 3 squares out of it. This is what I have left. So I will do like a striped, maybe a striped big center one. And then, you know, we'll see. I actually also thought about doing I forget, but whatever. that's my goal. My plan is 42 equivalent squares to seam up for my boy's Christmas blanket, because red is his favorite color. So I do have one stash acquisition I want to show you quickly because it goes with that blanket. I bought this vintage yarn off of Etsy. It is George's Picard Shot. I don't speak any other language than the one I was born into. It is a 50 gram, 78% kid mohair, 11% wool, 9% polyamide, and 2% polyester. It is like an extremely fuzzy yarn. I was thinking I could like hold this strand double and knit a square or two for the blanket, but my son has some sensory issues. I don't know if he would like this or not now that I think about it. I guess I need to let him feel it and see if he can handle it. It is not a soft yarn. It kind of feels like plastic, like a ball of chewed up plastic a little bit, but you know, it is vintage. I bought it a million years. I bought it on Etsy, so I bought it from a D-stash. It was made in France. I don't know. Let me show you the label. I pulled it out. I don't know. I will see if he likes the yarn, and if he does, I will make 2 squares out of this too to just throw randomly throughout the blanket. Because, you know, it's red, it's a different texture, and I'm all about giving him texture. So, that is my last finished object. Now, I'm going to show you a couple, well, I just told a lie, guys. I do have one more finished object. Finished-ish, once again. I've knit a few leaves for a garland. I'm going to make a fall themed leaf garland for my mantle, and this is the leaves that I have knit. I have knit this one using 3 strands of Holst garn. Sorry about my puppy. Holst garn in 3 different like kind of matching fall-y like colors. This was a free pattern that I found on the internet. I will leave a link below because all I did was how to knit a leaf, and I typed that in and this is what popped up. And I like this. I also have a pattern that is for like I think a oak leaf, but I mean, guys, knit 5 together? I don't know. We'll see. This one I knit using 2 strands of Holst garn and 1 strand of the mohair from this. I'm trying to use it all up, and it's cool looking, right? It's the back. And I did this one and this one are a little bit different sizes because I'm going to use, these is going to be like the most, then I'm going to sprinkle these ones throughout. And if I knit the oak leaf, I'm going to try it. I'm just kind of concerned because it says cast on 101 stitches. That is a lot of stitches to cast on for a leaf, I think. I don't know. We'll see. It's something like called stacked stitches or something. I don't know. Hold on one second. So I don't know, 101 stitches, stacked stitches, I don't know. I've never knit that before, but I'm going to try because I would like to have a different type of leaf. So this is my big leaf. This is the actual leaf that comes out of the pattern. I used a number 4. It's like a Pikachu yarn. I got this yarn back when Pikachu Yarn on Instagram was doing a Kickstarter. Like, you help fund the yarn company being made, and then they sent you yarn. This is the skein that I got. This was from like 2016, I think. So deep stash, guys. It's 100%, I think, Peruvian wool, something like that. Regardless. So I have 3 of these full-size leaves right now, and 2 of these little leaves. And then I'm going to like make a couple more leaves, and I'm going to do a banner, like an I-cord banner, and then I'm going to hang them off, and I think it'll look great. This is why I can't record usually. My kids, my dogs, everybody's getting loud up in this house, and I am not done. Okay, so that is my last finished objects. My next my first work in progress that I'm going to show you. They've got me all bloop bloop. Is a sock that I'm knitting. This is like my car sock, except I can't drive or go anywhere right now because of my foot. I ain't going many places, so I'm just knitting on it when I feel like knitting on a little bit on a sock. This is a vanilla sock, slip stitch heel, 64 stitches, US 1, 9-inch needles. I did something different on this one though. I did do like where your arch is, I did like a ribbing, thinking that that would be a good idea to like help cinch the sock in, but then I realized it would have been better if the ribbing was done on a smaller needle. Then I was like, maybe instead of doing a ribbing around the arch, I should just go down a needle size around the arch to make it tighter there so that the sock hugs your foot better. And then when you get past where your arch is and you're at the pad of your foot, then you can just go back to your main needle size, which is a 1. So I am going to buy me a US 0 needle set of needles, either DPNs or 9-inch circulars, because I prefer to knit my socks on 9-inch circulars, and I'm gonna see if that works. I think it's gonna look cool. It will change self-striping yarn's gauge a little bit, but I don't think it would be like disastrous or anything like that. This yarn is something I got in a wool swap. It is called this. Super Garn Active, I don't know. It is in German, I believe. It is made in the Czech Republic. Cool. Yeah, it's in German. Here is the label, color. I really like this yarn. I think the color is beautiful. Like, this is what the tag says it looks like. And guys, this is what it looks like. This is beautiful. I love this. I was thinking about giving it to my husband. After I started knitting, I'm like, ooh, this is kind of a masculine color. I can give it to my husband. Then I'm like, I didn't make the leg long enough for my husband. The leg is only this long. My husband, when he wears socks, they're usually a little bit longer than what I would wear. I can't wear a long sock unless it's a knee high for like cuteness, because I don't like the feeling of it on my leg. I don't like tight things. It's not very. So, but I'm almost done with this sock. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I've got 65 rows done. I do 70 and then I do my toe. So I only have like so little bit of this left, and then I will be done with this sock, and I will need to do the second one. Here's what I have left. You can hardly even tell I used any of this, and I've already knit almost a whole sock, which is cool. I have decided that with my partial skeins of sock yarn, I think I'm going to start making socks for my kids using like this as the top part of the socks and then like a solid color as the foot, so that I can use up some of my scraps of sock yarn, because my daughter, my 3-year-old, would love to match socks with me. And I think if she has a sock that matches me all the way down, but the foot's different, she would think it's fine and cool. So I'm going to start doing that for her and my son, because they have littler feet than my other daughter, who is almost 17. Oh, 17. Crazy. Okay, my next work in progress is another sock. This is my football socks. I told you that I like football, and I am a Carolina Panthers fan because they are from the Carolinas, and it was me and my dad's favorite team when I was younger, and it's still my favorite team. So I am knitting on this self-striping skein only during a Carolina Panthers NFL game. So I am making a Rose City roller because I'd like to use this yarn to make both my little ones a matching pair of socks. And I think if I played my cards right, I could do both of the top of the socks with this, at least for my son, and then the bottom maybe in black. And then for my baby, she could probably get a pair of full-size socks out of this, like a Rose City roller littles. It's so pretty, isn't it? This is like the most beautiful yarn. I love it so much. I, like I said, am doing a Rose City roller. You know, you just knit till you get to the length you want it. And then, you know, you do a slip stitch heel. This yarn does not have a colorway name. I just had the tag, I saw it. with my eyes. Okay. It is by Tall Pine Yarns. And I got it off at Etsy. It is 75/25, 462 yards to 100 grams. And it doesn't have a colorway. It's just called self-striping yarn. So, so far the Panthers have played 3 games of regular season NFL football, and they've lost 2 and they've won 1. And this is what I've got. Because also one of the games I was watching, I had to finish my test knit, so I had to knit that, which kind of bummed me out because, like I said, I wanted to knit this during all the games. So there's that. I only have this one cast on because I'll work through it, then I'll work through the next one. Okay, cool, huh? I think it's cool. That's really all that matters to me. Okay, my last work in progress is probably my favorite thing out of everything I'm showing you today. It is so beautiful. I do not have the pattern way up here, which is okay. I showed it to you in the last video, so you don't need it. It's like Secret Garden something. It's like a pattern from Sheepies. Maybe it's Sheepies. That's a fun way to say it. And they wanted you to use their Secret Garden yarn. I only have 2 skeins of that, and I didn't want to use that anyway. I wanted to knit with this yarn. I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I need to knit with that. This is yarn by Chelsea Luxe, hand-dyed yarns. This is called the 80s Radio colorway, and I'm using these. I'm using a Chelsea Luxe Duet, which was these 2 balls together, 100 grams and 50 grams, and they had like twisted up the skeins together to make it beautiful. It was so pretty when it came in. And then I am using this, which is a 80-10-10 Superwash Merino Cashmere Nylon Blend, all in the same colorway, 80s Radio. And let me tell you what these are real quick, because I forgot. 90%, this one is Luxe Cobblestone. It is called Luxe Cobblestone, 80s Radio color. 90 Superwash, 10% nylon, 438 yards. This one is Luxe Mohair. 72 Kid Mohair, 28% silk, 459 yards. So that's what I'm using to knit up this lovely shawl, which I am now in the border of, and I am so excited about it. Turn it around because it's so pretty. Isn't she pretty? I'll show you one side so you can get the gist of it. It's bunched up on smaller needles, so you can't see the wingspan. I don't know what the wingspan is, but it is a little bit bigger, I believe, than the pattern called for, because I kind of randomly changed the stripes. When I first started knitting it, I knit the first section, and then I came to the first section of garter stitches, rows, and I was like, oh, it says repeat this 6 times. So I thought that it meant both rows needed to be repeated 6 times. Come to find out, they wanted 6 total rows. So it wound up being a lot bigger. So then I decided that I'm going to just randomly change each section as I felt like it, whenever I came to it, and decided like, let's move on. And that's what I did. And then I got to my last section of stockinette stitch, and I decided to do 10 rows of each of the yarn in one section. So I got the mohair, and then I got the merino cashmere nylon, and then I have the cobblestone, all in one section. Now I am on the garter stitch border, which is quite a few rows of garter stitch in the 3 yarns, striping it. So I am going to do something a little bit different, because I am a little bit different. I did move up to the next size needle for the garter stitch edging. This is a US 8. I knit the shawl in a US 7. I have knit just like one across, not both ways. No, I lie, I knit both ways. 1 row of the mohair in garter stitch. My next row, I'm gonna hold the mohair with the cobblestone, because I still have that attached because it was the last row of stockinette stitch. I'm going to knit 1 or 2 rows in that combined, so it'd be like 4. And then I'm gonna do a row of just the mohair again. Then I'm gonna do a row or 2 rows of the nylon merino cashmere base held double with the mohair. So you will get a row of mohair alone, 2 rows of the cobblestone with the mohair, a row of mohair alone, 2 rows of the regular yarn, finger away yarn, with the mohair combined. I think that will look really cool, give it some texture, and look really cool. Like, look at this mohair. You see the fluff, guys? Like, it is fluffy. Like, just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm absolutely loving knitting this. This is all I'm pretty much knitting on right now. Once this is finished, I'll do a bunch more of the squares while I wait for the next 2 knit-alongs that I am going to participate in, which I will talk about briefly, because this video is becoming longer than I expected. I hope to be done with this by tomorrow, because tomorrow is September 29th. The Across the Pond Shawl Knit-Along that is being hosted by 3 Little Monkeys and me and Ruth Loves to Knit podcast. I want to enter this shawl in the knit-along. I did enter this shawl, and then I entered the Linus shawl, but I want to finish this up too for that knit-along. Plus, that way I will be done before October 1st, which starts the first knit-along that I want to participate in. I want to knit the Felix for Fall knit-along. The Felix sweater is one of my favorite sweaters to knit. I've knit 4 of them, I think. I've knit 3 pullovers and 1 Felix cardigan. I am going to knit for this knit-along in a black fluffy mohair blend yarn. It is so pretty and so good. It's dark black. It's gonna look so good. I'm gonna knit it in that. And then the other knit-along is obviously the Stephen West Mystery knit-along that starts on the 6th. The good thing about a Felix is, honestly, you can knit a Felix sweater in a week and a half if you really tried. I've knit one in a week, which was awesome. So I could finish, in theory, my Felix before the mystery knit-along starts, which I'm not gonna bust to try to do that, because the Felix for Fall knit-along that is being hosted by Taylor from Fiber for the People. I don't remember the name of her podcast off the top of my head. Just watched it today and I don't remember. Go figure. I love the Felix. I was planning on knitting the black one. I already have the yarn in a bag waiting to go. So, you know, what a good time to knit this, right? So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to talk about today. I just wanted to ramble. Wanted to talk to somebody about knitting. Knitting is my favorite thing to talk about, other than my kids. I love to talk about my kids too. So I have to go. It's time for homeschool. I will see you all again very soon. And yeah, hope you're having a great day. Keeping it safe. And if you live in the Southeast, especially Florida, I'm praying for you guys. I hope Ian just doesn't do anything catastrophic. Okay? Keep hope alive, guys. Peace.